Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I hope you're all having a great day so far. Now we have some major updates for our second stimulus check, second stimulus package, and some of the current events that are going on in the United States. NBC News reports that President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris are set to meet with governors, while Trump again has no public events. And we have another article from Newsweek that reports that Joe Biden says stimulus packages have been stalled because Republicans fear retribution from President Trump. President-elect Joe Biden on Wednesday blamed the ongoing stimulus deadlock on Republicans, saying that they fear the retribution from President Trump amid rising cases in most states. But do you think that is the case? Should Republicans be blamed for holding back our second stimulus check? Leave your comments down below. New York Times reports that Steven Mnuchin, our Treasury Secretary, is going to end some Fed emergency programs to limit Biden. The Treasury Department asked the Federal Reserve to return unused funds, which could prevent a new secretary from restarting key loan programs. Headline from Fox Business reports that stocks shrug off losses, tech and energy led turnarounds. And most importantly, I will give you the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. This article from CNET goes into great detail on when you might receive a second stimulus check. Now before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click the notifications bell, and let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Be sure to like this video if you think that Congress must get their act together and pass a second stimulus check. The White House Coronavirus Task Force held a press briefing. And so let's see what Mike Pence and others have to say about the current pandemic in the United States. Let's take a look.
Outbreak in the past. And even as we see help on the way, vaccines being developed at a historic pace, as I mentioned before, as we gather today, we are seeing cases and positivity rising across the country. But we approach this moment with the confidence of experience. We know the American people know what to do. We have forged a partnership that is truly seamless with state and local health authorities. And as we'll describe to you today, we've continued to work 7 days a week, all throughout this year and up to this very moment, to make sure the American people have access to the health care that we'd want any member of our family to have as we meet this pandemic. Now, cases are rising throughout the country. Positivity in the last 30 days has risen from an average of 5% to 10%. And to that end, we've continued the mobilization that began at President Trump's direction early this year. We increased testing from a standing start in the month of February to now. As of today, we've completed more than 170 million tests. And we continue to approve new tests, including an at-home test.
So that was a news conference filmed by Fox Business. And there we have it. Mike Pence believes that the Trump administration has done a good job in taking care of the coronavirus in the United States. But folks, tell me what you think. Is President Trump and the White House Task Force handling the virus in a proper way? Should he lock down the country? Should he lock down the country for 4 to 6 weeks? And will President Trump start implementing the new vaccine? Tell me what you think, everybody, in the comments down below. According to Newsweek, President-elect Joe Biden is blaming the Republicans for holding back your second stimulus check. Biden has expressed optimism that Republicans in Congress will address his party's calls for state and local funding when Trump leaves office. That's according to Newsweek. Biden has also vowed to prioritize a stimulus deal after his inauguration. In a virtual event with frontline health workers, Biden suggested that the GOP has declined Democrats' demand for local funding to be included in the next stimulus package because of their fear of retribution from the president. And as I said in my earlier videos, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. And I'm not sure if we can totally blame the Republican Party for holding back the second stimulus checks. After all, Mitch McConnell has proposed 2 skinny stimulus bills, and President Trump, the leader of the Republican Party, proposed Nancy Pelosi with a $1.9 trillion stimulus offer that included PPP assistance, small business funding, and $1,200 stimulus checks. But Speaker Pelosi said that $1.9 trillion was not enough. Once again, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an independent and I see things how they are. I want what's best for the American people like you and I. But folks, tell me in the comments below, who is to blame for holding back our second stimulus checks? The Republicans or the Democrats? Biden also told reporters, hopefully when he's gone, they'll be more willing to do what they know should be done, has to be done, in order to save the communities they live in. Both sides of the political aisle believe that further stimulus is needed to address the economic fallout of the pandemic, but they are in disagreement over the amount that should be allocated to local governments. The impasse has extended the months-long stimulus inaction. So folks, Congress is going back and forth on the total price tag of the stimulus bill and whether or not state and local governments should receive stimulus assistance. But in my opinion, that should not be their major point of focus. They need to focus on the American people. After all, this is not their money. It is our tax dollars going to a second stimulus check and a second stimulus package. So if I were someone like Mitch McConnell, I would agree to a $2.2 trillion stimulus package like the ones that the Democrats are proposing, which does include a $1,200 stimulus check to help Americans around the country. Tell me in the comments down below if you would do the same if you were Mitch McConnell. Steve Mnuchin plans to end some Fed emergency programs. That's according to the New York Times. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said he does not plan to extend several key emergency leading programs beyond the end of the year. That's a decision that could hinder President-elect Biden's ability to use the Federal Reserve's vast powers to cushion the economic fallout from the virus. The New York Times reports that Steve Mnuchin on Thursday said he would not extend the Fed programs that support the markets for corporate bonds and municipal debt, as well as a program that extends loans to mid-sized businesses. The programs expire at the end of 2020. The pandemic-era programs, which are run by the Fed but use the Treasury money to insure against losses, have provided an important backstop that has calmed critical markets since the virus took hold in March. Removing them could leave crucial corners of the financial world vulnerable to the type of volatility that cascaded through the financial system in March. In other words, this could lead to an economic downfall. And by asking the Fed to return unused funds, Mnuchin could prevent Biden's incoming Treasury Secretary from restarting the efforts in 2021. Everybody, there's a lot of political games going on in Congress right now, and this is an example of it. With all due respect to Steve Mnuchin, he has passed the first stimulus bill back in March with the Democrats and Republicans. He did help us get our first stimulus check. And Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, has also done his best to approve a second stimulus bill. He worked hard to approve a stimulus bill with Speaker Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. But this is not a great decision. This is an example of some political game that Mnuchin and Trump are trying to play. Now, the most important news about our second stimulus check. Here it is, everybody. As Washington lawmakers are once again calling to finish negotiations to solidify a relief package with a second stimulus check and submit it for a vote in Congress. The U.S. is experiencing over 150 new cases of COVID per day. That's according to CNET. That is a statement from CNET.com. And President-elect Joe Biden's stimulus plan includes a second stimulus check, but the most recent Republican plan, a tightly focused $500 billion skinny bill, does not earmark any new stimulus aid for the American people. A new round of stimulus payments is expected to bring up to $1,200 for eligible individuals, with additional financial assistance for people with dependents. Congress must authorize a new stimulus package before we'll know all of the qualifications, when stimulus checks could go out, and who won't qualify for more money. With that being said, everybody, I hope you all found this video useful. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. That way you'll never miss all of the newest and most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and until next time, have a great day.